Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and every week I take a close look at the real estate market here in the Villages. I'm going to orient you as to where the Villages is located. We are in Central Florida. The map you're looking at is showing you all active listings on the MLS as of today. Size of the circle denotes the size of the home, and the color of the circle denotes its price per square foot. That will be the case for all these maps that I show you, and you can see that it does indeed locate each home individually. The Villages is a 55 plus community. We have golf courses spread throughout, championship and executive. We have recreation, shopping, dining, and live entertainment in four town squares every night of the week. If you want to know what's happening to the real estate market here, what long term trends are, where properties are selling, where they aren't selling, this is the show for you. I'm going to break the Villages into four distinct geographic regions so you can compare between them. And a couple of things to note, the Villages has two distinct real estate marketplaces, the MLS and the VLS. The VLS is the Village's own internal marketplace. It's the only place you'll find new listings, but pre-owned homes are both on VLS and MLS. So if you're a buyer and you're only seeing VLS or you're only seeing MLS, you're only seeing about half of the properties available for sale. All of the information I'm presenting here is drawn from the MLS. The other point is that we produce this show every Monday. Make sure you check the date to ensure you're getting the most recent information. And as you look at this video, you get some sense as to the wide variety of homes available here. But it's worth noting that whether you have the least expensive home or the most expensive home, you have the same use of the amenities: golf, pickleball, recreation centers, swimming pools, etc. If you need to reach me, I can be reached either at DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. Be happy to help you with any questions you have. If you're a buyer looking for a good deal, I think you'll find our data-driven approach will help you find one. And if you're a seller, I think you'll find our approach will help you justify the highest reasonable asking price. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at what's happening in the Villages real estate market this week. We're going to cover a lot of material today, and you will have a good sense of where the market is. But let's start by looking at total listings, which this week jumped very slightly to 543, down dramatically from 700 earlier this year. And I'll show you what the total number of listings has been over the last year. And you can see that the number of listings is almost identical to the number of listings we had the same time last year. So before we dive more closely into listings, let's take a look at where they are. This map shows you the location of the 543 active MLS listings this week. I'm going to break the Villages down into four geographic areas, and I'll show you how many listings there are in each. And later on, I'll show you how they differ in terms of price range, price per foot range, size range, etc. There is a difference between the four regions. This first region is the oldest part of the Villages. I'm calling this the North. This is everything south of 42 and north of 466, includes Spanish Springs Town Square. This week there are 230 active listings in the North. It is still the most active area in the Villages on the MLS. Next, the Mid-North, still one of the most popular parts of the Villages because of its proximity to so many amenities and its central location. It's very close to Lake Sumter Town Square. I've defined the Mid-North as everything south of 466 and north of 466A. This week, 145 active MLS listings. Third is the Mid-South, getting into the newer part of the Villages now. I've defined the Mid-South as everything south of 466A and north of Highway 44. This week, 70 active listings. And if I did not mention it before, on these maps, the size of the circle denotes the size of the property. Every property is a circle. Bigger the circle, bigger the home, and the brighter the circle, the more expensive per square foot. And finally, this is the south. The Villages is growing to the south, and we're seeing an increasing number of listings in this area. I've defined the south as everything south of Highway 44. This week, 98 active MLS listings. Let's take a look at how the areas compare. First, here's the Villages as a whole. You can see 543 total listings. You can see smallest, largest, median size, most expensive, least expensive, and median price. And on a per foot basis, the most expensive, least expensive, and median price. Now that you've seen the villages as a whole, I'll show you how the areas compare. You can see here how many listings there are in each area, size ranges, price ranges, per foot ranges, and median values for all of those. It is worth pointing out that the price per square foot in the north is as low as $120 a foot, and in the mid-north, the lowest price you'll find per foot is 196 a foot. Here we're looking at all listings. Once again, we're looking at how long they're staying on the market. This is the median days on the market for all MLS listings. We're up to 68 days, and it is worth noting how high 68 days is historically. There have been very few readings this close to 70 or over days. I already gave you this information on a previous chart. This is the median price per foot for all MLS listings, and remarkably, it is exactly $250 a square foot. It has been exactly $250 a square foot for several of the last dozen weeks, and it is noteworthy. It seems statistically extremely unlikely. I've also included this zoomed in chart, which is showing you the median list price per foot for all MLS listings, but only over the last year. And you can see that while the price did drop by about $5 a square foot in the first half of the year, it really hasn't done much since then. Now we'll look at what changed last week. Homes that were added to the market as new listings. I'll show you a map of where they're located. And the homes that went pending, which left the market, I'll also show you where those are located. But what we're looking at here is a 4-week average of the new listings and pending home sales. And you can see that over the last 4 weeks, there's been on average 1.75 more homes listed than went pending. This is the same information, but there's no averaging. We're looking at weekly data points, and this is just showing us the difference between new listings and homes going pending. Numbers below the zero line indicate more new listings than homes going pending. Last week, there were 12 more new listings than homes going pending. I'll show you the location of the new listings in a moment, but first let's focus on the homes that went pending over the last 7 days. They numbered 28. This map is showing you the location of each of those homes going pending. Once again, the bigger the circle, the bigger the home, and the brighter the circle, the more expensive per square foot. Here we're looking at the homes going pending. We're looking at a 4-week average. Median time on the market is 49 days. We are down noticeably from recent peaks, but certainly still elevated. Here we're looking at an average over the last 4 weeks, what the median price per foot was for the homes that went pending that week, 240.82, about $10 a square foot lower than the price at which homes are currently listed. And here we look at what the price change is from the original asking price for the homes that went pending over the last week. We're back over a 6% reduction. As you can see, reductions over 6% are not that common historically here. 6.33%, the median price reduction for homes going pending last week. And for those of you keeping an eye on new listings, here you can see the 40 homes that were newly listed on the MLS over the last 7 days. Now let's look at the homes that closed over the last 7 days, and you can see it was a marked increase from the previous week. 53 homes closing on the MLS over the last 7 days. The map shows you the location of each of them. Once again, the larger the circle, larger the home, and the brighter the circle, the more expensive per square foot. Here we're looking at a trend in terms of number of sales per week. We are looking at a 4-week average. Sales have averaged slightly less than 40 homes per week over the last 4 weeks. I'm going to show you what the actual weekly readings have been, but you can get some sense of historical activity levels. This is the actual weekly data going back 3 or 4 years. You can see the weeks of the year on the x-axis below and the number of sales per week, y-axis to the left. 2025 is the red line on the graph. As you can see, sales rebounded markedly last week. This is the same information, but smoothed with a 4-week average. You can see the 4-week average number of sales. 2025, definitely a higher level of activity than 2023 and 2024 so far. Here we are looking at homes closing and how long they were on the market. Median days on the market, 4-week average, 51 days for the homes closing over the prior 4 weeks. levels over 50 are abnormal historically. I'm going to give you a lot more information as to the difference between current listings, homes going pending, and homes closing. But let's continue looking at homes closing for now. We're looking at the last 7 days. We're looking at the average over the last 4 weeks. Price per foot, 237.53, turning back down again. This is going to give us a pretty good sense of the market. We're going to look at active listings, homes that went pending over the last 60 days, and homes that closed over the last 60 days. Let's start by looking at active listings, the number 543. You can see how many of them are in each of these price buckets. Most active price segment, the $300,000 to $400,000 range, 204 active listings. There are almost as many between 400,000 and 500,000 as there are between 200,000 and 300,000. Same price bucket for the homes that went pending over the last 60 days. They numbered 146. Most active segment 300,000 to 400,000. But as you can see, $200,000 to $300,000 price range, almost as active in terms of homes going pending. And here we look at the homes that closed over the last 60 days. 300,000 to 400,000, still the most active, but as I pointed out earlier, 200,000 to 300,000, almost as many. Now let's look and see what we see on a per foot basis. Here we're looking at all active listings, the number 543. 145 of them are in the $225 to $250 a square foot price range. This seems to be the most active segment. Same information for the homes going pending. And here we can see 225 to 250 a square foot, definitely the most popular price segment over the last 60 days for homes going pending. But there are 25 homes between 200 and 225 a foot that went pending over the last 60 days. And the information for the homes closing over the last 60 days, they numbered 302, 74 of them between 225 and 250, 64 between 200 and 225 a foot. And let's take another look at all listings. And here we're looking at what percentage of listings have reduced their asking price from the original asking price. Almost 59% have. We're getting awfully close to 60%. We hadn't seen anything over 60% until this year. And here we look at what the actual reduction is. This is the median reduction for all MLS active listings, 4.62%. We're definitely over 4.5% again. There's one more show left in this series. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed, and especially those who have listened all the way to the end of so many of these. I'm not going to say I will miss making them, but there is some part of me that will miss this connection with you.